What's up everybody, Pepperonin here. I don't really like racing games. I think they're repetitive, boring, and they aren't even very interesting either. You just need to do a few laps and then you're done. One video game series that's consistently been able to buck the trend for me though is Need for Speed. But I can't find it anywhere, so today, I'm here to talk to you about Mario Kart 64 instead. As with most Nintendo games, Mario Kart 64 uses an interesting graphical style called isometric vomit. Basically, they ignore the capabilities of their system and go out of their way to make a game look as horrible as they possibly can. We saw it with Mario 64, we've seen it with Mario Kart 64, and we will see it in other Nintendo-related products in the future. Seriously, whose idea was it to make the game look like this? I can just imagine the board meeting where they came up with it. Hey Bob, you know how people like it when their video games look good? What if we made it not that? I wouldn't mind so much if this wasn't a racing game. How am I supposed to be in first place if I can't even tell where I am or what anything is? Moving on. What Mario 64 lacks in graphical quality, it makes up for in terms of story. This game actually handles very well. Moving around feels great, the power-ups are varied, and you can even commit suicide by train. What more could you want? The only complaint I have regarding how the controls are, and it's a pretty minor one, is it's very difficult to stay on the track. Drifting isn't as advantageous as it is in other games, and it actually slows you down. Hazards are sometimes unavoidable because of the camera, and even if you technically don't make any mistakes, you can still fall into 4th or 5th place due to everyone else being simply faster than you on the straightaway. It's also next to impossible to perform any of the more precise tasks like hitting a ramp or going through a secret area. Other than that though, I would say the gameplay is perfect. I've heard Mario Kart 64 referred to as the Dark Souls of the racing genre, especially when it first came out, and I would have to agree with that. This game is insanely difficult and the campaign is both grueling and unforgiving. One little mistake and you have to start the entire game over again. What is this, high school geometry? There is a story behind the difficulty though. You see, Reggie was only 3 years old when work began on this title, but he knew his entire rest of his life depended on how this game turned out. For every tragedy he would endure, he would ramp up the difficulty setting. 17 minutes after making that decision, both of his parents spontaneously combusted and his dog left for cigarettes and never came back. On top of that, he was framed for his parents' deaths and his dog showed up to the trial as a witness, sealing Reggie's fate. The betrayal sent Reggie into a downward spiral, and he swore to himself that if he ever got out of prison, he would see to it personally that his former dog was eviscerated, and that Mario Kart 64 would be the most difficult video game ever created. 17 minutes after he made that decision, the prison exploded, and because they didn't keep records back then or have cameras, Reggie rode off into the sunset, having only served 70 years of his 3 consecutive life sentences. He made good on his personal vows, and the rest is history. I really feel like the character roster this time around is pretty bloated. Too many clone characters. I mean, half of these characters never show up in a video game after this. Who the hell is Luigi? They tried to sneak not one, but 2 clone characters of Mario by us, Luigi being one of them, Boo being the other, clearly a reskinned, dead version of Mario. It's fine to make up new characters for a game, but don't make it so obvious that you're just filling spots with clones you never intend to follow up or do anything with. I also feel like this game pushes the liberal agenda a little too hard, and it gets way too political for my taste. They basically jam it in your face, like, I get it Nintendo, you're a liberal. Just tone it down please. Mario Kart 64 is a bit of a mixed bag for me. It really excels in some areas like the gameplay and the story, but the graphics are awful, and I really am put off by the amount of conservative bashing that happens in this game, and how I'm constantly being told to recycle in subtle ways. I'm sorry, I can't get past it, I really can't, it makes me sick. I give Mario Kart 64 a decent 5 out of 7. Better than that train wreck Mario 64, but there's a lot to work on still.